There is a monumental difference in results between a good trader and a great trader. So today I'm going to run through 3 of probably my best tips on how to bridge that gap for you and start turning your results around. Now, I was stuck in limbo with each of these issues for probably the best part of 2 years. So I'm just going to share them with you now. And just before we actually get stuck into that, I may as well announce that we are just about to launch a markups channel using the FTR strategy, which on average creates about 20R per week. And we have the results to show that and prove it. If you're interested for when it launches, just fill out the Google Sheets form down below and we'll send you over an email when it's ready. So without further ado, let's get stuck in. So tip number 1 is to know your plan and to follow it religiously. And what I mean by that is do not deviate. Do not deviate from your plan. Do not try to figure out the market for itself. Do not try to better the market. Do not try to outsmart it. Do not try to show off. Just follow your plan. It doesn't matter what your plan is. It doesn't matter what your strategy is. It doesn't matter if on average you make 10% a year with it or if you make 1,000% a year. Stick to your plan. Do not deviate. I have an issue which I've been working on with a therapist, with a mentor, about my ego. I used to train as a professional wrestler about 15 years ago. That is all about ego. It's about showing off to a crowd, showing off to an audience. I struggle to break out of that in my general way of life. I have an ego and I'm trying to crush it because trading leaves people with egos very, very sore. So stop trying to battle the markets. If you have a plan which is profitable over a period of time, stick to it. Stop trying to better what your plan can do. I still make the mistake from time to time of placing a risky trade, something that I feel potentially might do well. You know, it would look fantastic on Instagram if I share that. Real Paul McGee, by the way, the blue tick. But I do struggle with just the boredom, the monotony, the whole element of trading. I actually hate it. It's so boring. It's literally the most boring job I've ever had. And that's the other thing as well, is that trading is a job. This is your job now. This is what you do every day until you die. That's what was taught to me by 2 professional traders. This is what you do every day until you die because it's your job. It's meant to be boring. Work is boring. Jobs are boring. Trading should be boring. Okay? So stick to your plan. And if you don't, just prepare to fail because you'll do it over and over. And I'll just mention again, it doesn't matter what your plan is, just make sure that you stick to it rigidly. And that brings us on to tip number 2. How do you know if your plan is working if you're not documenting your trades? Now, it doesn't need to be complicated. You don't need to be using any sort of trading software, paid for software. There's quite a few that I could name, but I won't just for certain reasons. But even though they're really good, a lot of it is just not needed. It's just excitement. It's to keep you hooked. Generally speaking, with your trading, you can use a Google Sheets, you can use Excel, you can use Notion. And something which I'm gonna do for you is it's only a really simple template, but I'm gonna give away a template just down below. So just click the link, download it, take a copy, and just use that if you haven't got one already. I'm pretty sure a lot of you will have something which far outweighs the content within there, but it's enough just to keep beginners on course. It is essential to follow your plan and to document what you're doing. You need to keep track of things such as the time of day, the currency pair that you're trading, mark out the direction where your entry was, stop loss, target. And if you've got a couple of variations of your plan, so a couple of different entry setups, you need to have categories for that. I'm not going to list out within there how to make the changes on Notion. Okay, I'll share a link within the template on how to get the best out of it. But Notion is a free software. I use it, but at least I can look back over my trading results and see where my losing streaks come from, where my winning streaks come from. Am I going in the correct direction overall? Am I going in accordance to the higher timeframes? Am I taking counter trend trades? Am I following my plan exactly how I want to? And also I can look at the trade setups after a 3-month period and say, right, this particular trade setup got me 60% profit, whereas this particular trade setup got me minus 12. which one am I going to cut from my plan moving forwards? I can only do that if I'm documenting my trades correctly. So I'll say it again, download the template. It's free, just use it. Tip number 3 is to cut the noise. There is so much garbage on the internet. I, as you'll be able to tell, am not a whiz when it comes to creating videos. I'm not a content creator, I'm a trader. I've been learning how to trade for the best part of probably about 20 years, but really full-time as a trader for 6 to 8 years, on and off. I had other jobs in between sometimes, but you need to cut the noise. I would recommend unfollowing the accounts where, you know what I'm gonna say, they're showing off lifestyle, Lambo, Dubai, all the things that we can all aspire to have and we can all have in the future, but you just don't want to be suckered in by all the shit out there, because it's going to cause you to start trying to cut corners and start trying to live up to their expectations and to start trying to show off. Unfollow those accounts, follow certain accounts on YouTube, you know, just cut the noise out, because a clear mind is going to be able to focus. Another key thing about cutting the noise is stop trying to jump about on different strategies, because you'll start following something which is SMC related or ICT related, which, you know, no problem with either, by the way. But you'll see one guy or one of your friends is using a slightly different variant of a strategy, and you're not quite happy with your results this past week or this past month. So you jump ship over to there, and then they jump ship over to what you're doing. And all of a sudden, because of the noise, you're no longer progressing, you're restarting. And when you're restarting all the time, how can you possibly improve on what you're doing? You just need to stick to what you're doing. And finally, just for a little bonus tip for you, and this was the absolute game changer for me, which meant that I didn't have to be at the charts all day. And my phone doesn't always, you know, I don't always hear the alerts. You'll notice in some of my videos, I'm wearing it, sometimes I'm not, but you will rarely see me wear anything like a Rolex or anything really smart on my wrist, because if it's during the week, because bear in mind the charts open at 10 o'clock on a Sunday night and they close at 10 o'clock on a Friday if you're in the UK, I'm wearing a smartwatch, because the only alerts which I get on this, which vibrate, are TradingView alerts and CTrader alerts, which is what my broker uses. I don't want to have any distractions. If this goes off, I know that I'm either getting into a trade or I need to look at the charts and just, I've got about 45 minutes. I place my trade alert about 2 or 3 candles before I would need to get into an entry, so I can make an informed decision as to whether or not I'm gonna still get involved based on my original analysis. So getting a smartwatch, they don't have to be expensive. This one's about 300 quid. So just make sure you only set your TradingView alerts on there, also your CTrader or MetaTrader alerts, and away you go. A bit of a different video. There's not actually been any charting going on. It's just been me talking and sort of demonstrating a little bit, hopefully with a little bit of B-roll on my editing. But let me know if this is any use for you. But I'm looking to potentially move away from doing the backtesting videos so frequently. I'm wanting to give as much value as I can to everybody. What is it you'd like to see? Let me know. Pretty soon I will be launching a couple of additional services which are going to be hugely beneficial, and they've been asked for absolutely ages. 2 of the businesses are stuck in legals at the moment, so I can't launch them, but when we do, it's probably the best strategy on the internet.